Okay, so everyone, we're going to look at percentages 2 this week. So it's on page 120. All right, so Monday we finished off our area. So today is Tuesday. And we're just doing a quick revisions of fractions and decimals. So just bear this in mind. This is going to be, fractions, decimals, percentages that are all an amount of something. They're not a whole number. Okay, so we're just going to look at how to write, let's say something like 2/5 in decimal form. There's two ways of doing it. You can either turn it into a fraction that you can work with, that you know is decimals, because decimals are 1/10 are directly behind the decimal point, and then 1/100 are behind that. So, and then 1,000's behind that. So we know that if we could turn that into a fraction we can work with, make it into a decimal, the easiest way to do it is I'd multiply that number to get it to a 1/10, right? So we do, first of all, we'd multiply 2 by 5, which would get you to 10. Do you remember that method, guys? And so if I do it to the bottom, I must also do it to the top. So 2 multiplied by 2 is 4. So the answer is 4/10 there. All right. So then 4/10 we know as a decimal is 0.4. Okay. So let's have a look at how we do it here. So the easiest way to turn a fraction into a decimal is divide the bottom into the top. Okay. So fifths are you divide your fifths into your top number. Okay. So I divide 5 into 2. Okay. So 5 into 2 doesn't go, so I have a 0 here, and then I start going into decimals, okay? So I bring my 2 over here. 5 into 20 goes 4 times. Okay, so the answer is 4. So anytime you need to turn a fraction into a decimal, you just divide the bottom number into the top in order to give you a decimal. Or else you multiply it out so that it's something you can work with, like tenths or hundredths, all right? Now, it says here, write this number in fraction form. So it's just basically revising fractions, decimals, percentages with everybody, okay? Now, it says here, write it in fraction form. Okay, so we know that in fractions we've got, and decimals we've got our units. Then after the decimal point we've got our tenths, we've got our hundredths, and we've got our thousands. Okay, so let's just look at what the number is. 4.056. So 4.056. Okay. All right. So there's 4 units. Okay. So that's just, you don't change that. There's nothing smaller for that. But we've got 56 here. Okay. So there's no tens. All right. So there's no tens. So we're not going to put tens. It's not going to be, there's nothing for there. So we're just going to put 0.56 over 1,000 because that's where it fits, over 1,000. Okay, but we can just get rid of that because it's only 56 out of 1,000. So do you remember when we had our dens blocks? And this is where I'd be showing you a dens block and talking you through it from the dens block. But there's only 56 small dens in the whole 1,000 of a cube. Do you remember those blocks? There's only 56 of them, so they're over 1,000, okay? All right, there's no tens, there's just 56 over 1,000, okay? So that's how you would write that. 4 and 56 over 1,000 is that in fraction form, okay? So here, I'll just talk you through the first one. So it says, fill in the missing decimal or fraction, simplify where possible. So we have 99 over 100. So what is that in decimal? So how many tens is there? There is in 99 over 100 there is 90. There's 9 tens. So you would put 9 like that. That's how you do that one. All right. So in this one it says 7.8. 7.8 is equal to 7 and what? So 0.8, we know that 0.8 like that is what as a fraction? It's 8 over 10, isn't it? Because we know these are tenths, okay? Directly after the decimal point. So that answer is 7 and 8 over 10, like that. All right. Now, I'm not going to give you the rest of it. I'm going to let you try and write that out yourselves, okay? So stop the video and come back to me on that one, okay? Now the next one, quick revision of fractions and percentages, okay? So percent means per 100 or out of 100. We know that from our last chapter, all right? So here we know that if we're given a fraction, a lot of the time what we can do is multiply it by something to get it up to 100, okay? All right, so if I multiply the bottom, as you remember, by 100, I have to multiply the top by 100. So that as a fraction, that as a percentage is 75 over 100. That's the fraction. So then just to turn it into a percentage, I just say 75% because it's over 100. All right, so that's the example that they're showing you there, okay, how to turn a fraction into a percentage. So 60% is always 60 over 100. You can break it down and make it smaller. You can make it 3/10, and then you can make it smaller again. You can just keep breaking it down. So let's just look. I'll do the first two with you. Okay, so write the missing percentage or fraction and then simplify. So I have 80%. So how do I make that into a fraction? So the easiest fraction is 80 over 100 because it's out of 100. But I can break that down. Whatever goes into the top, I can put into the bottom as well. So 10 into the top goes 8 times. 10 into the bottom goes 10 times. So can anything else go into it? So like 2 into 8 goes 4 times. 2 into 10 goes 5 times. Okay? 2 into 10 goes 4 times. And 2 into 10 goes 5 times. So 4/5 is the answer there. All right. Okay. So, and then we'll look at the other one. We'll say 2/5, and now we have to work out what the percentage is. So 2/5. So I know that if I just multiply that out so it becomes 100, I'll be onto my percentages. So what would I multiply this by? What would I multiply 5 by to get to 100? I multiply by 20 because it's 100. Okay. So if I do it to the bottom, I must also do it to the top to keep the fractions equivalent. So 2 20s are 40 over 100. Okay. Now I need to simplify that down. That's a big fraction, isn't it? So I can just go 4 into 40 goes 4 times. 10 into 40 goes 4 times. 10 into 100 goes 10 times. I could break it down even more though. So 2 into 4 goes twice. 2 into 10 goes 5 times. So the answer is 2/5. All right. Let you work that away. You've got a percentage there. So what do you do with that? You put it over 100 to make it into a fraction. Then you break it down. 1/20th, you multiply that by something to get it to 100. And the same goes for the last one. Okay, so stop the video if you need to do those questions and then come back to me. So here now, we're looking at something totally different. We're looking at decimals and percentages. So we're looking at what is an amount shown in the 3 different ways: decimal, fraction, percentage. Okay, so let's have a look at this. So converting decimals to percentages, you multiply by 100. So if I have 0.23, if I multiply that by 100, that gets rid of the decimal point. It moves the decimal point 1, 2 places. Anything I multiply by 100, I move the decimal point 2 places to the right. Okay, so it's like moving the numbers to the left and the decimal point to the right, whichever. Both of them mean the same thing. This becomes then a whole number, and it's 23%. Okay? So then looking at the next one, so move digits 2 places to the left. So we're moving the digits over here basically. Same here, converting percentages to decimals. If you divide by 100, so if you multiply by 100 to change a decimal to a percentage, now you divide by 100 to make it into a decimal. So you just reverse the process. So 99% divided by 100 is you just basically move the digits 2 places to the right. So if we had like 99 is like here, and I'm going to move this 1, 2, and I'm going to move this 1, 2. So it's 0.99, okay? So 0.99, because you remember 100% would be 1. So 99% would be 0.99, okay? So so that's those ones. I'm going to do the first 2 for you or something like that and let you have a go with the rest of them. So if I have 23%, all right, so I have 23%, okay? So what do I do to that? I divide it by 100, right? In order to make it into a decimal. So it's 23%. So basically I move these digits this way. Pretend that that's the decimal point. So the answer is 0.23. Okay. So here we go. You move the digits 2 places to the right when you divide. Okay. So let's look at the next one. The next one is 0.90. So here we have decimal. So what do we do to a decimal in order to turn it into a percentage? We multiply it by 100. We do the opposite. So multiply by 100. So 90 multiplied by 100 is we basically move the digits 2 places to the left. So we just basically chunk this way. So, and that equals 90%. Okay. Give those a go, guys. See how you get on. It's a pity we're not in school, because I you know, now we'd be working with Den's blocks and everything to try and give you a hand with this. But just pause and give those a go. And then I'm going to go and look at question 4 now. So question 4 says, what fraction, decimal and percentage of each shape is coloured? So let's look. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So there's 10. So 3 out of 10 is your fraction, first of all. Right? So that's nice and easy. You know then that's 0.3 in a decimal. You don't even have to look at it anymore. And then what is that? That's 30% as a percentage. Okay. So look at this one here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's 5. It's 2 out of 5, 2/5. Now, that's lovely, but we have to make it into something that we can work with. So we'll multiply by 2 and multiply by 2 to get it to tens. Okay. So 2 2s are 4. So 4 tenths. So that's 2/5 is our fraction. But 0.4 is our decimal. And what's 0.4 as a percentage? 40%. All right. Okay. So just work away on that page, guys. Give it a go. It's a lot of it is revision, but you know, just see how you get on with it, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.